Hello viewers, welcome back. Before we can write and run our very first C program, we need to set up our development environment. In this video, I will show you how we can install a compiler and set up an IDE, that is an integrated development environment, the most popular one being Visual Studio Code. We'll see how we can make use of an IDE to write our very first program, compile it, and then run it on our computer. So without wasting much time, let's get started. Let me switch over to my computer screen where I can show you how I'm going to install and set up our virtual environment to carry out our programming activities. So let's get started. So hello viewers, let's straight away jump to the computer screen and let's see how this thing can be set up and how we can start our programming journey. So the very first thing is I am currently using a Mac OS. If you are using a Windows platform, I will show you the entire steps one by one. So don't worry, even if you are using a Windows or a Mac based environment, the steps are going to be near about same. I will show you the steps for Windows as well as for Mac OS so that you would be in a better position to set up your environment for both the devices if required. Okay. So to demonstrate the process of installing this environment on your Windows machine, what I have done is I have installed my Windows platform inside my Mac OS device with the help of a software called UTM. So it's quite similar to what Microsoft VMware does or Oracle VirtualBox does. It is basically running a Windows machine inside my Mac OS machine. It's like a virtual OS running inside another host. Why I have done this? Because basically this will familiarize you with the exact same process that you are going to perform on your device. Okay, so let's start with this. Now you can see my Windows platform in front of you. The very first thing that you need to do is go to your browser, your favorite browser. In my case, I have not installed any other browser because this is going to be a temporary setup. So I'm going to use Microsoft Edge, which comes by default. So the very first thing that you should do is go to your address bar over there and type for Turbo C++. Search for it. And if you scroll down a little, you would be able to see this link, whichever link you wish. So let me select this site. Simply go to the right hand side, free download, click on it. The download should begin in few seconds. Click on start download. And that's it. As you can see, I have downloaded many files just to check which works for you. Okay, so you can simply download it and click on open file. Click on next, accept the terms and install it. It will hardly take few seconds, as you can see. So once you are done with the installation, click on run Turbo C and finish. So you will see this is your first interface where you can start typing and learn what is C programming. Okay, so by default there would be few of these things popping up on your screen. You can actually get rid of them. You can click on new and a new file will open up. So the very first thing that I will do is I will simply write a program to print something on the screen, the very basic program. So I would do some basic stuff over here just to show you how things work. Okay, so to run this program, you need to compile it first. So go to this compile option on top and click on compile. Luckily, there are no errors in this. So next step is you need to run it. Hello world. That's it. So this compiler works. So if you are running Windows, the very first thing that you can do is you can install this Turbo C on your platform and start typing and see how things work in C. But as I told you earlier, this is the most basic kind of a technique which you can use to start learning or creating your environment in a Windows platform. But it's a good starting point where you can learn how things actually came into picture, how things actually came into existence, how people started learning C. So this was used way back in the 90s. So now we have more sophisticated tools or integrated development environments, IDEs. Let me show you one of those environments, that is Visual Studio Code or Vscode. So now we can download an environment called as an IDE, that is Vscode. So again, I would go to the browser and I will look for something called as Visual Studio Code. Go over there on the website and simply click on download for Windows. It's a free tool, free software, so you can simply download this. I guess around 96-97 MB in size. So once it is downloaded, click on open file, click on accept and install it. It's again a very straightforward installation process. You simply need to click on next and it will be installed. Click on launch and wait for it to launch. Okay, so let me minimize the browser. Yeah, so this is how it looks for the very first time, as you can see on your screens. I prefer the dark mode. If you want, you can switch the bright mode as well. Okay, so what happens is, this is your interface where you will start typing or start learning C programming or any other programming language, to be precise, because this IDE supports n number of languages. Okay, so the very first thing that you should do is on top, get familiarized with these buttons: file, edit, selection, view, go, and various other options are there. So depending upon your expertise level, if you are very much comfortable with it, you can straight away start your programming. But if you are a beginner, then on the left hand side there are few options which you can explore. What we are interested in is this extensions. Go over there and click on C and type C. The very first thing that pops up is Microsoft IntelliSense C++. You need to install this plugin or this extension. Why? Because this helps you a lot while programming, while learning to code in C. This is something which sometimes will help you out if you are not able to recollect the syntax properly. So if you are very much new to C programming, this might be really helpful to you at times. Okay, so let it install. It will hardly take few seconds or few minutes. Once it is done, we can start programming our very first program. Okay, so that whatever program we did in the previous example in Turbo C, I will show you the same code. Our programming actually will begin from the next video. This is only the installation process where we are learning to install or set up our environment for learning C programming. Okay, done. So installation is done. So now what we can do is, we can go over here, click on file and click on new text file. Okay, on the top, as you can see, there's an option called as select a language. So simply click on that and select C. Let me zoom it up a little for you. Yeah. So now you can type the same code over here, but with few minor modifications. I will discuss about the code later on. I'm just testing whether this particular compiler is running properly or not. Okay, so I will simply type in. As you can see, as I am typing out, there are few changes in the colors. This is because there is something called as keyword, there is something called as a token. We'll learn all about that later on. Okay, now I need to run this program to see whether it is working or not. If I go on these three buttons on top, click on run, start without debugging. If I click on this, you will see this option. Click on this GDB LLDB, you will get an error. Yeah, as expected. So you are getting an error because there is something which is missing in this case, and that something is what we call as a GCC compiler. Now, Visual Studio Code is just a software running on top of your hardware. As C is a low-level language, it can directly interact with the hardware. But Visual Studio Code is just a software, so it cannot interact directly with the hardware. It needs something of sort, which is what we call as a compiler. This high-level language, or this something which is written in on your screen, this is basically some text, and we need to convert that text into some language which can be understood by the computer, by the hardware. That is what the compiler does. Okay, so it converts that text into something which could be understood by the hardware. So to do that, we need to install something called as GCC. So if I go to my browser, you can simply go and search for GCC compiler, So once you search for this GCC compiler, you will find few links. Just simply scroll down and you will find this link, GCC Windows 64 download. So click on that and download this. Open this file and you will see something like this. Okay, click on this particular file, extract all, and extract somewhere on your computer. It's around 1.2 GB in size, so it will take some space. So now we have this. Simply cut this folder. I don't need it in the download section. Go to C drive and paste it over there. Fine. Now you need to go to bin and see whether GCC is there. Yes, GCC is there. So what you need to do is you need to copy this path. I need this path because this is what will be required for Visual Studio Code for compiling the code. Okay, so simply go to your search options over there and type environment variables. As we need to set the path over there, click on environment variables, scroll down, double click on this path. You will see these many options. Click on new and enter this path and press OK. Again OK. Okay, that's it. Go to your Vscode, just close it once, restart it, and the things should work. See, GCC installed. It is now able to read the path which we had given to it. Now what you need to do is go to terminal, simply type GCC and check if it's installed. Yeah, it's installed, but we have not given any input to the particular GCC compiler. So what we'll do is we'll type this GCC space, the name of your C file, that is hello world.c space -o or -o, that is the object file that is going to be created, and give it any name of your choice. Let me give it hello. So now what we have done is we have compiled our C program. If you want to see the file which you have just now compiled, simply go to this Explorer tab and now see this is the hello.exe that we have just now created. So basically from this hello world.c original file, we have compiled that into this exe file which the computer will understand. So how to run this? It's a very simple process. Simply enter / and the file name, that is hello, and press enter. See, this is the output that we wanted, hello world. So this is how we are going to make use of this compiler called GCC. Okay, so that is our very first program, and we have now understood how to create our environment where we can type our C codes so that we can start our journey of programming in this beautiful world of C. So that's it. Up ahead we are going to discuss about the same process but from a